You are about to experience the incredible true life story of author and speaker Marshele Waddell, the wife of a U.S. Navy SEAL. Bringing desperately needed help, she talks honestly about the perilous battlefront that is being fought every day by military wives caught in the crossfire. God has gifted Marshele with a life-changing message. She has become one of the most requested speakers in women's ministry today. Wherever she goes, she brings inspiration and hope for the home front. One Hope Ministry is proud to present author and speaker Marshele Waddell.
If you remember just one thing today when you leave this beautiful chapel, if it's just one thing that you take with you, I want you to remember that you are not alone in this thing called military life. And 1 week after graduation from Arizona State University, I married a United States Navy SEAL. I had no idea what a Navy SEAL was. All I knew was that the Navy SEALs were out in San Diego, so it must mean that his job had something to do with SeaWorld, so I was all for it.
She talks about things that a lot of women are afraid to talk about, like fear, like temptation. She's personal. She reveals her own heart. She is compelling. She's a compelling communicator.
And I go back in our little apartment and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this long day by myself? So I start tidying up our apartment and unpacking from our honeymoon and started to gather a load of laundry. And so I'm going through and I find a pair of cami pants on the ground that belong to my new husband. So I'm emptying the contents of the pocket. There were some pennies and some candy and paper clips. And there was a note that came out of it that was written in my new husband's handwriting. I was curious. And it said, "Burn marriage license." Burn marriage license! So for the next 7 or 8 hours, I hunted around in our apartment for little mini cams and little tools of espionage, and I thought, he must be a KGB agent. This was during the Cold War, ladies that are younger. He must be a KGB agent, or he must have a wife in every port, and he wants to keep it that way. Or maybe he's an assassin and he's about to make his hit. I don't know.
Something started to beep. It was a beeper, which I didn't know he had, and he just transformed, and he became someone that I had never seen. Tempted to turn to self-medicating ourselves, self-medicating the pain, whether that means alcohol, pills, sex outside of marriage. That's what it looks like. I did not know to pray for my husband's mind. I knew to pray for his physical safety and his safe return, and you know, I believed he would be gloriously fine if he came home physically well. I did not know that there was the potential of him coming home mentally affected.
My truck is good. Yeah, the toilet's backed up last night. Oh, I love our new assignment, honey. It's wild, untamed beauty. I have a 10-pound rat in my kitchen. Yeah, I'm well. Yeah. How's the weather out there in California? Sunny, huh? There's a hurricane moving inland here. My kids were getting older, the bills were getting bigger, the demands were getting greater. And I found myself at a place called This Isn't Fair Station. Did you know that the Left Behind series was originally about military wives? And all of this lumped together plopped me smack in the middle of a place called Anger Airfield. Have you been there? And I learned then and there that a root of bitterness was growing in my life, was growing up in my spirit. I was beginning to die and to wilt inside and to lose who I was and to forget who I was. And I found myself at a place called Reservation Resentment. And it was there that I realized that I was no longer living at Fort Fantasy. I was living at Fort Reality. You see, the fantasy of us being together all the time and spending every day of our lives together turned into the reality of us being separated 8 to 10 months a year, every year for 25 years. No joke. The fantasy of us raising a family together turned into me single parenting 90% of the time.
Sad reality. Soldiers coming home troubled. Some say as many as 20% return from war with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Impact broke his leg.
A story all too familiar to Marshele Carter Waddell. Her husband, a decorated Navy SEAL, came home from Iraq a changed man, fighting an internal battle with PTSD. It spread throughout the entire family.
I hope that we can bring some solutions, and I hope we can bring some light into a dark place.
By dealing with it, they believe they're saving lives.
This problem's not going away, and we need to understand how post-traumatic stress disorder is coming home.
I stood at a crossroads there at Fort Fear, and I realized that I had a decision to make. Was I going to live my life by fear, or was I going to live my life by faith? Living the life that God created us to live was going to have to be God living in me, leading me, replenishing me minute by minute, not on my own strength. And it was at 31 years old, 10 years into this military life thing, that I discovered the grace of God. I discovered that God's grace is perfect for any situation that I have to face, that His grace is sufficient for me, and that His power is made perfect in weakness.
She stands up there. She's like your best friend. You feel like all of a sudden, wow, I could sit down and have a cup of coffee with this woman. She really can identify with my life.
Marshele has lived this secondary trauma and knows firsthand the destruction that can follow.
We at first thought it was just our relationship coming apart at the seams after 20 years of military service, but it was something rooted much more deeply.